All right, fellas. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about dating. Um, the first two related topics comes to mind is dating versus being single. Which one really does make us happier? Is being single underrated? And what's the truth about dating nowadays? We see a lot of stuff happening on the gram, a lot of infidelity, a lot of double crossing, a lot of bullshit. So you just start to wonder. Like, is it even worth it? Will I even find, or will yourself even find like your other half, right? A bit about the gameplay in the background. I decided to play some Call of Duty for a change. Nuketown is fun, I suppose, but it's full of sweats. I like it. It keeps my skills sharp. Sometimes, if I have sucky teammates, then sometimes I just trash. But I end up doing really well in this match. In the beginning, I'm getting murked in the beginning, but it starts to even out, and then it starts to turn into my favor. But yeah, AS Val is underrated, which is fine because when I use it and when I smoke a lot of people out the way, they're all surprised. Instead, they all get mad at me. But you're about to see why I choose AS Val over pretty much anything else when it comes to this mob. But yeah, that's enough about the game. So I do want to hop on straight into the video. So um, I think I want to start first with what's like the best part about being single, right? Like I want to make a case for being single. So this is part one of the video, right? I think you have the freedom to self-discover, right? You get focused on your goals without pretty much trying to compromise or pretty much without asking permission. Say if you want to travel alone, you could definitely do that without asking somebody for permission. Um, What about like, time to explore who you are without being influenced? It's one thing, telling your partner like what you have in your head, and if that person is more neutral as opposed to trying to convince you otherwise, then you start to be your gauge starts to bias towards that person's point of view. But taking the time to understand who you are and trying to figure it out without anybody telling you their opinion. Of course, you may want it, but sometimes it's better for you to just voice out or vent out, and then try to figure out later what all of it means by yourself as opposed to somebody's opinion. But yeah, the more obvious ones is obviously travel alone or travel in a group without anybody's permission. You can also focus on your career. You could dedicate more time to jumping that ladder, that corporate ladder if you're in corporate, or if you're trying to go from an entry level position in a more manual labor job, and if you want to reach well, not necessarily want to reach a managerial position, or perhaps you want to have multiple jobs. That's perfectly fine too, especially if you have the energy and you have the willpower to do it, right? But yeah, of course, fitness. I want to say fitness is the number one key for getting the person that will seem to be more for you. In terms of that person liking you, because if you have a better body to show off and to impress, then that's more power to you, especially if you're doing it for yourself. It's one thing trying to be more healthier for or trying to look better for somebody else as opposed to doing it for yourself. And doing it for yourself is always the way to go. But yeah, apart from freedom and discovery, like you have the mental space. So what I mean about that is simple. Like there's no need to overthink certain tasks. There's no anxiety that comes from relationships. There's no like emotional toll or labor that comes with being in a relationship with somebody. You can always go to hell at the most inopportune time and say you focus on something more important than anything. Having these conversations at the wrong time can surely impact the result of whatever it is you're working on or dealing with. And of course, the growth, especially when you're younger, you're still trying to figure out who you are. Unless you have that ideal partner who respects your space, who respects what you're trying to do, who respects what what you're trying to strive for. Some of us aren't fortunate enough to have that kind of partner. So some of us are still trying to uh, grow up, right? And it's kind of hard to build that independence towards just independence for yourself when you have somebody who is insane eye to eye with whatever with whatever it is you're trying to achieve. And I think the most important part one is learning how to be alone without feeling lonely. That's one thing. Being anxious and trying to always talk to somebody or be with somebody. It doesn't have to be your partner. And it's another thing being or just wanting to be alone because it's just peaceful. It's you yourself and nobody else is around you to pretty much annoy you. So the reflection point that I think number one is trying to communicate is, being single doesn't mean that you're lacking anything or anyone. It just means you're choosing to invest your energy inward to yourself instead of outward to somebody else. And of course, it's always temporary. Part two, part two is more towards for those who are in dating or who want to date as opposed to staying single. Of course, when you're dating somebody, you always have that connection support. Assuming that you have the ideal person that you want to be with, right? You get to share your life with somebody who understands you, right? You get to understand. You get to share experiences, thoughts. Have a little bit of a therapy session for the both of y'all. It starts to lead towards building something for a strong emotional connection between you and your partner. Uh, and when it comes to dealing with the highs and lows, you always have somebody at home who wants the best for you. And of course, we have our parents that if they're good parents, that they're also the ones who by default, for the most part, I should say too, who are cheering for you. It's always nice to know they have a partner that also supports you outside of the family, right? I do want to say growth is another is an overlapping idea here. A good relationship will always challenge you for the best. You learn to compromise, you learn to communicate, and of course, face your flaws and trying to better yourself as a person. Partnership is the most obvious one here. It's always something beautiful trying to build somebody with somebody, especially when you're just beginning out. Doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be anything big that we're building here. The three topics that come to mind is building like a strong emotional connection with your partner. You can also build your financial situation together, and even spiritually building a strong connection for either for yourself or together. Uh, the best thing that comes out of dating somebody, assuming that's the person that's ideal for you or best for you, is knowing that the relationship wouldn't drain you. It'll it pushes you to do better or to get through life. And the best part is that you don't have to do it alone. So I think part three is where it gets messy, right? Where it starts to muddy the waters, as the old saying goes. Dating isn't always fun, right? We have the hookup apps or the dating apps. We have mixed signals, the new term situationship that I've been hearing from the younger generation. To be honest, I think I'm getting old and I think I'm falling apart already. I'm not in the know of what's hip right nowadays. But anyways, to my point, all of this is just exhausting. You're trying to read me in between the lines, just trying to play that role, right, and trying to court somebody, right. It's exhausting, especially if you do it multiple times. Of course, there's that argument where like if you do it for a while, you start to get good at it, and there's some merit to that argument. But trying to reach that point where you're always talking to multiple people, it starts to take time away from what's more important for yourself, right? And I do want to say some people out there just date out of loneliness and not because they're ready to accept or to have a new partner in their life. Uh, single being single isn't always as peaceful. Uh, it starts to feel like people who are single are more incomplete. um, it starts to feel weird when you see other people have something successful, and what do you have, right? You start to compare yourself to what others have. Excuse me, to what other has, to what others have, and comparing that against what you have currently, right? So it starts to get weird. It starts to get well, you start to ask yourself like, well, what's the balance here between being uh being single and having someone with you, right? Um, it starts to depend on which one is better for you overall, right? Considering your situation, and considering how you are and how ready you are to accept somebody in your life. The fourth part I do want to touch on is what you're choosing, right? Dating or being single isn't necessarily a competition, right? They both have trade-offs, and the real question is, are you making this choice because you really want to, because you're ready, or is it because somebody expects you to already be dating, right? Relationship is supposed to add peace, not just status. Singleness does bring growth, and and it's in whatever situation you find yourself in, you should definitely own it and heal if needed and learn. The fifth part is the pressure to choose and why you don't have to choose. I think we're more obsessed with the labels of having a partner or not having a partner, especially when family starts asking like, hey, like it's been a couple of years, when are you gonna get married, or do you have a girlfriend, and why haven't you found a girlfriend, etc. So it starts to be annoying, or it starts to be more in your life or in your face when somebody else is asking about your private life, right? Especially when family starts to bug you. Uh, we have this external pressure that comes to us on the regular. We also have social media telling you like, hey, like these other people are having a good time and their partners, like how come I can't have some of that, right? The key point here is like there's no rule that tells you have to rush it or even embrace you being alone. I think the healthiest path is for you to find what works right for you, and of course you can change that when it starts to become uh, when it's time. The last part I want to talk about is the internal work that pretty much nobody talks about, like whether it be that you're single or dating. Your experience is pretty much shaped by you know the work that you do for yourself, and I think this is the part that many people just skip. They skip the exploratory, the discovery. They skipped what somebody has to do in order to become more with themselves, right? Um, so the exploratory part about this topic is, are you single by choice, or are you single by fear? Are you wanting to date somebody because you want that connection, or you don't want to be lonely because of ego? Have you healed from the past, or if not, then that's fine. Take the time to heal. The message that I'm trying to send here is, dating or being single it's both empowering and painful depending how you want what situation you find yourself in that kind of has you biased towards a guy to be empowering for you or just painful. Uh, Suggestions to better yourself in your situation would definitely be therapy, to talk to somebody, or journaling. At least that way you could keep it private. And I think the one thing that I want to leave you guys out with is whether if you're alone or with somebody, just make sure that you're not. Make sure that you're ready. All right, then, fellas. That's pretty much it for me. Hope you guys liked the video, and I'll talk to you guys later.
No, the legend's not it, bro.
Body drop. trophy
We're
system.
winning.